Am I the butthole? Head criticism 4669 says, am I the butthole because I forced my daughter to leave the house to go to college? For the past few years my daughter F17 has been extremely depressed and has been having huge anxiety attacks whenever she has to leave the house. She hasn't been diagnosed with anything, but we are going through autism assessments and ADT ones too. It's been difficult on her with all the appointments, and I understand how she feels though she always says I'm not listening to her and I'm too harsh when I make her do things. Edit. She was sent to medical professionals last year to test for BPD, but it was a waste of time as they can't diagnose until she's 18. 3 days ago, she had a meeting with her teacher at college to do some extra college work as she finds it difficult to concentrate in class, so this meetup was going to be very helpful for her. She woke up on that day an hour before the meeting and was angry about the fact she had to leave. I gave her 2 options. I said that she either went to the meetup or she stays at home and gets kicked out of college. She has already had 4 chances at this college and has been kicked out of 2 before, so nobody else would take her. She can't get a job either from intense anxiety or this huge fear of leaving the house. My partner took her to college and she didn't speak to her once in the car. Then she got out and called her. She called her names I can't repeat and said I shouldn't have made her go because she was too anxious and hates going. Also, it being the Easter holidays and it wasn't natural to go during them. She went in and finished the meeting about an hour later. She got home and was perfectly fine. Though my partner says that I maybe should have let her have it off today and worked something out with a teacher. My partner says she could have been having an episode and I shouldn't have said anything because it's not our daughter's fault. / she can't deal with emotions well / I don't agree, but does that make me tar? If there's any info I've missed let me. Fatchins68 says, NTA. This is not going to make me sound good, but here it goes. I have diagnosed ADT and depression. I get in these moods where everything seems stressful and overwhelming, but once I do whatever it is, I'm fine and it's never as big a deal as it was in my head. Example, we moved to a new area where we don't know anyone last year. I needed to get a job. I found something I was interested in, applied and set up the interview. I was pretty excited about it. When the day came I did not want to go and was having a complete panic attack about the whole situation. My husband got me out of bed and helped me get ready. He drove me to the interview and I panicked the whole way. But I went in, did the interview, was offered the job, and I started a few days later. I ended up getting promoted and a raise within 2 months. I'm not lazy and I'm pretty motivated when working. But the thought of going to that interview seemed like too much. My point is this is what you will have to do until you can get her diagnosed and properly medicated. You cannot just let her off. Your partner is enabling her. If my husband hadn't drugged me to that interview I would have spent the next few months falling into a deep funk. You cannot let her lay around and wallow. Head criticism 4669 says, I understand completely, and she is like this. I only want to help her, even if she doesn't see it like that. No Place 8047 says, she also needs regular therapy, so she can get the tools she needs to be able to process stressful moments. Medication and a diagnosis only do so much. Cognitive behavioral therapy is another key component to healing. Inevitably at the beach says, NTA anxiety and depression thrive on giving into their symptoms. It's hard to fight them, but when your daughter gives in, the anxiety and depression is reinforced, and it becomes easier to give in next time. She needs to fight it for her well-being. She needs to fight it, so it lessens its grip on her. It's not an easy thing to do. It's not something that happens quickly. But she can do it. Cheer her on when she does what seems easy to you, but impossible to her. It will get better, but you're all in this for the long haul. Head criticism 4669 says, Every time she gets the bus on her own etc. I tell her I'm proud of her. Comfortable Draw 176 says, sometimes you have to get uncomfortable to get comfortable. Understandable she didn't want to go. Nobody does, not even the teacher. She's only 17. As parent, your job isn't to be liked, it's to give support, set consequences and guide her. You won't be around forever and sometimes tough love is required so she can learn to become independent eventually. Giving her tools with therapy is essential. Sometimes medications can be life changer. After being treated for AD, classes that I would skip became my favorite courses. Sam Spayedp says, NTA, you just told her the honest truth. She's already been dismissed from 2 colleges and has had 3 prior warnings at this one. The teacher was doing her a favor by providing her with teacher conferences and extra work. The teacher was on break too. Making the appointment and failing to show up for it is a slap in the face. Telling her the likely consequences of her actions was not forcing her in any way. Info, I gave her 2 options. I said that she either went to the meetup or she stays at home and gets kicked out. What do you mean by kicked out? If you meant kicked out of college, then it's just the honest truth. She's already been dismissed from 2 colleges and has had 3 prior warnings at this one. The teacher is doing her a favor by providing her with teacher conferences and extra work. The teacher was on break too. Making the appointment and failing to show up for it is a slap in the face. You didn't force her in any way, just explained the alternative consequences to her action. If you meant you were going to kick her out of your home, then you would be the asshole. That's not how I read it, but other commenters seem to be reading it this way, so I had to ask. Am I the butthole? Royalad6811 says, am I the butthole for discarding items after months of being left at my house? My daughter's GMA is taking me to small claims after I informed her I no longer have possession of items left at my house by her son. My now ex and I separated 07/23. When he left, he took a Kroger bag of clothes, charger, and hygiene items, and that was all. I found out he cheated on me. We were together for 9 years. I asked his family to come get his things and no one did. I did, however, take time out of my life to make 3 trips to a different city to return some items. I informed them they would have to come get the rest. And no response. Now I'm being sued by his mother for things I no longer have. After several attempts of getting one of them to come get these, I discarded them. I gave them from July to October. I have changed my number 2 times due to his family harassing me. Usual Roll 9084 says, NTA at all. Let them take it to court. If you have records of asking someone to come get them with no replies, it shouldn't be an issue. My ex-husband moved out around this time last year, coincidentally about 3 weeks before our bulk trash pickup. I told him that I was not a storage unit and that anything of his that was still in the house the weekend before bulk pickup was going out with it. He said he had everything. Then a few months later started asking me if I had seen this or that, thinking I'd have it. I was like, yay. I've seen it. I saw it on the curb right before the garbage truck came. Sanitera Marks says, garbage day, the ultimate lost and found. Royalad6811 says, I do have messages printed out already from him, his mom, and his stepmom for my custody court for my daughter, where I asked them to come get the rest and the dates and time in which I dropped the things the majority after him. I have receipts for the things that are mine, such as my tools and power tools I have bought, which she's suing me for. But as for anything THT was his or his mom's, I no longer have. I discarded them in December. I live in Indiana and here possession is 9/10 of the law is what I was told by officers that come into my job. Lol. Artistic Ad 5577 says, NTA at all. In fact, you're an angel for even giving them the chance and dropping some stuff off for them. But do yourself a favor and protect yourself. Look over laws and make sure if you have proof you ask them to pick stuff up and communicated with them. Lawyer up if need be, and maybe try our/legal advice for some guidance on dealing with this. Royalad6811 says, she did file in small claims and I have court on Friday for it. They have all been texting me off random numbers talking about my parenting and children. I have changed my number and going to use those texts in my custody case. And the things being said are only things my ex knows, like the arguments we have via email. Waterwitch009 says, just be super calm, have your documentation in order, and don't cross-talk with them. Only answer the judge. A collected demeanor and sticking to the facts will get you far in court. Close bracket. Watev6187 says, if he is not the one suing you, ask what her standing is to sue. It is not her property, so unless she is a lawyer, she most likely cannot represent him in court. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.